Hello, Frugivores. Once again, this is Captain Frugal reporting for duty. Sorry if I made the mic make a little noise there. I got a little close there. I can't believe it, but I'm doing another video today. Usually, I only tend to do these trendy videos when something really piques my interest. And this I found absolutely fascinating, especially since it's from CBR.com, and I'm not a CBR.com fan. There have been nothing but shills for DC and Marvel for years. And I know that for a fact because I've talked to people that work there. They pretty much give them, the Marvel and DC creators, all the leeway in the world, no matter how crappy they treat fans, because it brings in clicks. And then if CBR says something bad about Marvel or DC, something's got to be really bad, because they are known for trying to polish some turds. And finally, either this is some truth going out, some actual good reporting, some real feel, somebody grew some balls, or CBR's actually starting to tell the truth a little bit, or maybe they need something to drum up clicks so the site's going down. I don't know, but I seen this article and I couldn't help but talk about it, because I've been mentioning this before. I mentioned it when it first happened. I'm going to mention it again. This article is by Sergio Pereira on May 26th on CBR.com. I always like to give credit where credit's due. And it says, Tim Drake deserves a better superhero identity than Drake. Bravo, 100% true. Yes, Tim Drake's new code name is simply Drake. We've known that. It's been for a little while now. For a former Robin, you'd expect a much better superhero identity and costume. And I'm going to bring up some points why in a little bit, why this is so ridiculous. First of all, this costume is absolutely ugly. It's hideous. And look at it, it's brown. Does this mean he had to wear his brown pants? A little nod to Deadpool there. I mean, did he crap himself? He probably did. Tim Drake probably crapped himself when he found out he's going to be written by none other than Brian Michael Bendis. I'd crap myself too, because in Young Justice #10, written by Brian Michael Bendis and illustrated by Nick Barrington and John Timms, Tim Drake shed his Robin moniker in favor of a new superhero persona, Drake. It's been a long time coming. The result hasn't exactly enamored fans of the former Boy Wonder. Matter of fact, I haven't talked to a single person that thought this was a good move. I think this is an ugly costume, stupid costume, and I think he should have went back to the Red Robin costume before the new 52 version of Red Robin. And I'm going to tell you why in a little bit. It's inspired by one of the most dangerous birds and his own surname, which is one of the biggest mistakes of this right here. And let's be honest, if somebody hears Drake, does that really install any fear in you? Heck no. Drake is meant to give the character an opportunity to step out of Batman's shadow, let him be his own superhero, much like Dick Grayson and Nightwing and Jason Todd with the Red Hood. Unfortunately, his new identity lacks the originality and pizzazz necessary to make Drake stand out like his predecessors. Now, I want to mention this before. Robin has done that already. He has struck out and been his own superhero. He had multiple mini-series, when they're testing out the market to see if somebody would buy a Robin monthly comic book, which all did good. And then he had a comic series of his own that ran well over 100 issues. What can you say? That's pretty amazing for a sidekick character, where Robin stepped out of the mantle of Batman, being just a sidekick, and went out on his own with his own rogues gallery and some shared rogues gallery as well, some of his own cast and crew, as well as some intermingling between that and the Batman universe, which makes sense. I mean, that's his family. But they did a really good job of that balancing of that character, and really made Robin stand out. It showed how he gained his prowess, how he went through and trained and things. And we'll talk about that a little bit more too in just a little bit. So it says, the name feels a little lazy, absolutely. And just another way that DC has done Tim Drake dirty in the past few years. I cannot agree more. After Damian Wayne assumed the Robin mantle in 2006, it was evident Drake required a new identity. He could have went back to Red Robin. I'm going to beat that through. The shift to Red Robin bought DC some time to develop a new angle for the sidekick, but the name stuck around, even being worked into the new 52 version of the character. For a short time, he also became Batman Beyond the Future's End arc. I agree. So I think he did a really good job paving his way in the Red Robin. I'd like to know your opinion. Did you like him as Red Robin? Just curious there. While Grayson and Todd went on to have their own successful storylines since shedding the red and green tights, Drake has felt out of place since the introduction of Damian. And I do think there's some truth to that, especially since, they were both Robin again at that point. Why did Tim Drake have to be turned back into Robin? I don't understand that. His comic series, he was Red Robin in that for a while. I think he should have stayed. The presumed turning point, though, was DC's Rebirth initial Detective Comics run, where Drake joined Stephanie Brown, Cassandra Cain, Clayface, Batwoman, Batwing, fake air gas, Azrael, Batman as a new team. More significantly, and this is key, Batman handpicked Drake to lead the project known as the Gotham Knights. Now, I want to point out a point here, and this doesn't, I think, get enough attention. People always say, who's going to be the replacement for Batman if something happens? And sure, Dick Grayson makes a lot of sense, but Dick never really wants to be Batman. I don't think that's the best choice. Whereas the best detective out of all the Robins, Batman said it himself, is none other than Tim Drake. And if that's the case, he's the smartest. I think he's probably the best fit to fill the Batman shoes. Is he the most skillful fighter of the Robins? Pretty much no. But I don't think he gets enough attention in his fighting skills. He is no slouch in fighting. They tend to always downplay that in DC and people in general. But if you look, Robin went through some very extensive training. I mean, he trained under Batman as well as others. So he's not, as much of a newbie with fighting as people tend to make him out to be. I think he's very underrated in that regard. And then you mix that with his cunning, his smarts, his ability to plan. He's probably the best, really, to be the next Batman. After Drake's supposed death and revival of Mr. Oz saga, it appeared that DC had major plans for the character, even hinting that he'd be the evil Batman of the future instead. Drake left the Gotham Knights with Brown and then joined up Young Justice, which feels a little bit like a downgrade in the grand scheme of things. Now, like Prince or Cher, he's simply going by the name of Drake. Now, I don't agree, and I do agree there. Giving him his own team, Young Justice, that alone doesn't sound like a downgrade. It's saying, hey, let's show his leadership skills, just like we've seen with other Robins. I have no problem with that, especially with Dick Grayson. It was part of his growth to becoming Nightwing, if you will. But once I heard, it's going to be written by Brian Michael Bendis, yeah, that does seem like a downgrade. And I will say, I liked the first issue of Young Justice. I had some hope for it. I will say the hope was limited because it was Brian Michael Bendis, and I'm not a big fan of his team book writing. It seems to be you could interchange characters, and it doesn't make a difference. In a lot of cases, he just doesn't put a lot of good there, and a lot of the writing he does for the characters seems to be out of place, sometimes out of yucks and things like that, trying to get that little joke in that just doesn't quite work. But nonetheless, this was a grand, in my opinion, mistake. It says, compared to Hawk or Falcon, a Drake isn't exactly an epitome of danger. And I can even say it without laughing. Absolutely, it isn't. It's kind of like the name Norman. Nothing wrong with it, but it doesn't exactly strike fear into the heart of the person who hears it. My name is Norman. Yeah, it doesn't do it. There's something different about, I am Batman. More importantly, here is one of the biggest things I have against it. It's his actual surname, Drake. The whole purpose of a superhero identity is to protect your loved ones and not give any leverage to your rogues. Anyone, and here's a kicker right here, with a smartphone could look up Drake on Google and identify the real Dick by height, hair, color, build, and thus the whole Bat family in under 20 minutes. If Drake isn't scared of using his real name, then why does it even bother wearing the mask? Now, my other point on this, too, there's no way on earth, this is probably my biggest thing besides the outfit actually looks like crap, there is no way on earth Tim Drake would use his name Drake. Drake is super smart, a detective. Remember, he discovered who Batman's real identity is because he's that smart and can piece things together. Do you think he'd be stupid enough to call himself Drake? No, this was absolutely terrible, terrible writing. Shame on you, Bendis. It's so bad that CBR has turned on you. Drake has been around for over 3 decades and hasn't been the main Robin for 14 years now. As a beloved and fan favorite character, he deserves a much better superhero identity than he has now, and I cannot agree with that more. It's time to remove the shackles of the past and give him a better code name. Getting back to Red Robin, at least. And the outfit that doesn't feel like it was lifted out of the WWE's mid-90s. So anyway, I'm going to have to say bravo to this time to Sergio here. I'm proud and happy that somebody stepped up here and talked about Robin in this really crappy turn. And that's my opinion. Maybe you love this outfit. If you like this outfit, this turn, you think Drake is the proper way to go, let me know in the comments. If not, let me know what your thoughts are. What should Robin be called? Should we go back to a previous identity? What should Tim Drake do next? What are your thoughts? I would love to hear it. But these are my thoughts, not yours. It just happens to finally, I cannot believe it, I have the same thoughts as somebody that writes for CBR. Which I have no respect for CBR whatsoever. So, sorry, don't mean to offend anybody. It's just you've posted a lot of garbage. All right, well, thanks for watching. Until next time, keep it frugal. I want to make sure I take a moment to thank the people that helped make this video possible. I consider you producers of this channel and of this show. Without your support, these videos would not be possible. So I'd like to thank Rags, Comic Boom, Pop Size, The Frag Minion, Warren JB, Lynchnut, David Osenwitz, sorry if I mispronounced your name, and A Penny for Your Dimes. I also want to thank the people that like to remain anonymous and anybody else that has contributed to this channel in the past. Without your support, these videos would not be possible. If you find yourself in a position you can help and you want to see your name here too as a producer credit, go ahead and look down in the links below. There will be a Patreon, a subscribe star, as well as a one-time donation, and you can see your name up here too. Thank you.